Well, it used to be P noms. I don't know whether they changed it now to C noms, but that's just like the PNC in prison. So basically, look, say you're on Mappa 3 or Mappa 2, or you're affiliated to a notorious crime group in your area and you're in prison and the squad's on you. So what they've got in prison, they've got the P noms or the C noms. Basically, the P noms technology, the computer system, came into the prison system. And when they brought that in, they give us all P noms numbers. So years ago, we used to have prison numbers, and it'll be something like 2 letters, 4 numbers. So like, my first ever prison number was KX9625. So 14, that's the first prison number they give me, KX9625. That same prison number was kept with me every time I went into prison for years. So every time I went into prison, I'd get KX9625 every time. And then years later, they brought this new system in, which was the P-Nomus system. So when I've gone into prison, when I'm in prison, they've gone round everyone in the prison and went, this is your new prison number. Your old one's still going to be on file, but this is your new prison number. So you ended up with a P, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 or something. You know, a longer number with one letter, P, and then it'd go on, or PA, or AA, or AD, and then it'd go on with the numbers. Now, what happened when they established that P-Nomus thing was this: the whole point of them establishing it was so they can get cross-border, cross-agency intelligence, cross-agency work done, cross-agency observations done, cross-agency... Do you understand what I'm saying? So basically, outside you've got the police national computer, and everyone's on it that's ever been arrested, fingerprinted, DNA and photograph taken, everyone. The ones that's never been arrested or had they're not on it. But the ones who anyone is on this police national computer. And the police national computer is basically DVLA. Okay? I know it sounds scatty that, but the police national computer is rigged up to DVLA's computer. That's why they can do a straightforward check on your license straight away. It's the same system. Do you understand what I mean? So what happens is this: the PNC is a police national computer that the authorities out here, say I get pulled, pulled over in the street in a car, and I've got £700 on me, and it's stinking of weed, and I've got a watch on me, and I've got a drug dealer's phone on me. When that pulls over, the officers that will have pulled me will go into my P-Nomus, because I'm a warning, I'm a gun nominal, and they'll go, this date, he's in the car with him, he's got this watch on, and they'll document everything on the PNC. The P-Nomus system in prison is attached to the PNC. That's why when you're in prison, this is what was happening with me. They were observing me in prison, documenting everything on this P-Nomus. And police were from outside was given my access number to the P-Nomus inside. So the squad that was on me outside could use the PNC to access the P-Nomus and read up on me what was happening in prison, who I'm mixing with, who I've had a visit with in the last month, what phone numbers are on me pin, who's writing me mail, who's sending me postal orders, what type of clothes am I getting handed in on visits, what parcels are coming into the prison for me. All this was documented. And what the police were doing every so often, it was like they were reading the intelligence in the prison I'm in. So you know when they're documenting it, so this is what I was like in prison, and you ask anyone. No, majority of the time I couldn't work in the workshops, so I couldn't get employment in the prison. So the majority of the time, I'm a wing cleaner, I'm a savoury worker, I'm a laundry orderly. You know, one of the jobs that the boys get. Do you understand what I'm saying? This isn't on the induction wing, so we're not snitches. These are long-term wings with lifers on and people doing 25s. And we're on there making sure the laundry runs sweet, making sure there's no problems, making sure no one's moaning about what's happening. That's what we were doing. So because I'm in them positions, and I'm the majority of the other lads in these positions, they're just like me, gang members. Do you understand what I'm saying? Notorious gang members. The more notorious you are, the more shook you've got the wing, the more likely you're going to get a savoury job, or you're going to get one of these jobs of power. Because on your in your prison wings, in the proper prison wings, you know, these are jobs of power. In your local prison wings, these are jobs for snitches. Why? Because there's a lot of traffic that goes through the laundry. There's a lot of, you know, smuggling going on with the laundry worker. And in the locals, they don't allow it. So they employ the little rats for these types of jobs, knowing that if they need the information, this laundry worker is going to give us it. And they come across as the boys. But what you'll notice in your locals, it's your number one. It's your number one on your wing. It's your main cleaner on your wing. These are the ones that are giving the authorities in your local prisons the information so they can get to their decat sharpish. That's the way it works in your local. In your long termers, they don't deal with that. They need people of strength. They need people who's got the authority to go, get out in laundry, your washing's getting. Do you understand what I'm saying? Different dynamics in long-term prisons, completely like. But what happens is, the police was tapping into the P-Nomas and doing their mapper board intelligence that way. So every 6 months they'd have a mapper board about me every 6 months. From the get-go till the end. Even now, they're still at it. Do you understand? And because it was on Mapper 3 Tier 4, every 6 months they held these cases. And what they'd do, they'd go over the intelligence, how I'm conducting myself in prison, who I'm mixing with, am I distancing myself from affiliation to gangs, or am I still participating in the mindset? All this is what they discuss in these mapper boards, but they were allowed to go into me P-Nomas and look at whatever the screws were saying about me, and they can do it with every one of us now. When they started it with me, it was a rare thing. They'd only just started doing it. Now it's common practice. That's why when you go into prison, before you get to prison, you've got your police warning marks. Do you understand? And on them police warning marks, it will say whether you're an escape risk, whether you're racist, whether you're violent, whether you're barricade, and whether you're affiliated to a gang. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It'll also tell them whether you're a gun nominal. So the minute you arrive on reception, you're sat on reception and you just think you're giving your name and your date of birth and your address in and you're being processed to the back. When in reality, they've got your warning marks, and when they go onto their system and it says, is he a P nominal? Yes. Is he part of an organised crime group? Yes. Just off them two getting a tick means automatically you get put onto a system where you're outside probation and the mapper board have got access to it. So from your first day on your induction wing, because you're a gun nominal, because you've got organised crime group affiliation, you're monitored, everything's documented about you from the get-go. And what they do to you, and what you'll notice now I'm making you aware if you're in that environment, they'll give you a key screw. Outside you'll get a key worker, someone that'll deal with your case. In there, behind the scenes, you'll have a particular screw that'll have the overriding authority about what you're up to. And he'll be your best mate. He'll be that screw. You alright, Taz, lad? And you just think he's a sound screw. Do you need any intel, lad? Do you need something? And what he's doing when he's doing that, he's making himself look good to the higher power who he's working for. He's not doing it as a sneaky thing. He knows he's writing up you. He knows he's monitoring you. But he's trying to come across that he's being extra professional in his duties. And he's always like this with Dazza. And he's always like that with Paul as well. And you'll notice, hang on, why is he being sweet to this kid? The closer they can get to you, the better they can monitor you. The closer they are to you, the more you're going to speak to them. The more they speak to them, the more you open up. The more familiar they become in your life in prison, the more familiarity breeds contempt, basically, people. If you've never heard that phrase, it's a powerful one. And what does it mean? Familiarity breeds contempt. This is, in a nutshell, this is what it means. You're in a group. The group consists of you, your mate you grew up with, your other mate you grew up with, your other mate you grew up with, and this new kid on the block. This new kid on the block doesn't know you, he knows one of your mates. That's why he's there. The first night, you okay kid, new kid on the block says to you, you alright lad? Second night, what's happening lad, are you good? Third night, he's giving you the dead arm, throwing a little jab at you, scuffling you, touching your ass. This is contempt to you. And the only reason he's being contempt is because you've let him get familiar to you. And that's why you don't let in, because they can put you in positions where you've got to treat them like a, and you end up with the consequences, not him. And that's why, you know, when people say keep your circle tight, you're not keeping it tight because of just the untrust and the backstabbing cunts. You're keeping it tight because you get people that become contemptuous with you, and you've got to return to your ways and deal with, because he's contemptuous around you. And that's the whole point of familiarity breeds contempt. Don't let no one become contemptuous in your space. And that's the way it works, basically. If you get what I'm saying. And you see it all the time. You see it on social media. You know, you can see it in the virtual world more than you can in the physical world. It's easier to spot on social media virtuality instead of reality. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, you seen it with me and that fella and that Daniel Green, didn't you? Prime example of familiarity becoming contemptuous. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? He didn't know me from Adam. He does a live with me, Happy Bunnies. Next live, he's taking the piss. He thinks he can rip me personality. He thinks he can tap into me personally. That's becoming contemptuous. And if you've got any of them people round you, get rid. Why? Because they'll get you in trouble. They'll get you in trouble. Simple as that, mate. And it's not your fault. You know, it's not your fault that you can be kind like me and you'll still get people hating you. You can be kind, pleasant, respected, and you'll still want people hating you. And you mightn't think people being contemptuous around you is hating you, but it's on the way to hating you. You know, he's lowering your standards in front of everyone, and you're letting him. And you can't. You can't let this contempt go on because he's lowering your standards in front of everyone. So you've got to deal with it. And it's just trouble, isn't it? He'll probably snitch on you at the end of it all. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's best to just avoid. Don't even let him near you. And if your mate's bringing people like that in him, you tell your mates, I'm not coming near you while you're with that, in a bit. That's what you've got to do. You've got to be very sacrificial. But because he's not your mate, doesn't mean he can't harm you through your mate. And it happens a lot with the lads out there. You see them, you know, it's like a love triangle, but it's not a love triangle, it's just like a mate triangle. And you'll get this fresh mate jealous about his old mate. And because the person in the middle doesn't really know this new mate's personality correct, he knows that, lads. But still, he has the verbal power to encourage your mate to believe that you're on him in some way. You're not. And what they say, people, in that sort of triangle is this: don't tell him that it'll cause murder. So your mate's now in a catch-22 because he's got his new mates say about you, but don't tell him that it'll cause murder. And then he's got his real mate on the other side, and now he's sat there thinking, is my man that way? I can't ask him because my man's asked me not to. So he's put in a situation all on the back of this that was getting contemptuous with you in the first place. You've jogged him on, and now he's still getting at you by talking to your mate, and now your mate's starting to second guess you on the back of this brand new mate. And don't think it doesn't happen. It happens, mate. And if you feel the vibe, ask. Ask your mate you grew up with. Listen, bro, I'm feeling a vibe here. There's something being said about me and you here. We need to sort this out. Don't let some kid who's just popped up 3 years from the end come in and start disturbing the energy process that you've had since you were children. It doesn't matter who's more powerful and who's less relevant in the group. You knew where you stood. You knew the people you were around. You knew them like the back of your hand. Now all of a sudden you've got some kid that you've never seen in your life popping into this group and disturbing that chemistry. Do you understand? Whoever's bringing him in, if he's not prepared to come off, the kid off who's brought him in. Honest to God, lad, you need to start protecting your Jesus.